A day I could take about. I used to mix drinks, so
Okay.
there was no. But I could take about two huge cups of alcohol in a day.
And your parents will not notice.
Yeah, I used to come home drunk, and they won't even notice I was drunk. The experience left me shaking mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, even. I had a hard time recuperating.
Hello, this is Tell Them Stories. I am your favorite host, Precious Isaac, and you are welcome to today's episode of Tell Them Stories. I have here in the studio with me today,
Hello,
and you're welcome to Tell Them Stories.
thank you.
So, how do you feel being here today?
I feel a little bit
A
nervous,
little bit nervous?
yes,
Okay,
but then I'm also excited
that's
to
so
share
exciting.
my story.
All right, so thank you for coming. So, happens to be a survivor of parental neglect, alcohol, self harm, and near rape. And she's here to share her story with us today.
All right, so my name is and I I grew up in a family of four children, and our parents, raised us to. We were raised indoors, basically. We were not this kind of children who were outside anyhow. We had a reason to be outside and all. So their
Mm,
way of parenting was like very strict
mm,
on us. And then I growing up I noticed I was different from my siblings
mm. When
in
you
the
say different,
sense, yeah, in
what
the
do you
sense
mean?
that what they considered normal or it didn't affect them, especially when it came to the area of emotions.
Mm,
I noticed it affected me.
okay.
Yeah, and over time it was established that I am an emotional person.
Mm,
Yeah, so growing up, our parents raised us together the same way. What goes for this person goes for the other person. And when I began to socialize, I began to ask myself things, and I'm like, okay, I want to find out why this is from my mom. And she's like, oh, well, that's not necessary. And I want to know why. And every time she did that, it made me feel like I was the issue. But actually, growing up, I realized that she was busy with work and
mm,
all that. But then there was a time in my life where my brother, uh sometimes he would call my mom, approach my mom, and say he wants to speak with her privately.
yeah.
And she's like, oh, she was all excited about the idea of having that talk with her son.
Conversation, yeah.
Yes, and so she takes him to a separate room and
Okay.
they converse. And so I'm like, but what did I do different? I also approached you. I wanted to have some certain conversations, but you just brushed it
Push me
all
aside.
together. So I'm like, what's different? And so it happened like that over time that some emotions that I wanted to talk about with my parents, it was not acknowledged.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I stated earlier, I'm an emotional person, so things easily get to me.
Mm,
I easily feel what others may not feel to the
mm.
degree in which I feel it. And so when I'm like, I want to let it out, I feel like I'm doing too much.
Okay, let's give a practical example.
Yeah.
You told me about you once tried to have a conversation with your mom. You asked her what a crush is, what it means to crush
Yeah.
on a guy, and can you talk to us how did that conversation go?
All right. So I approached my mom. I was hearing the word at school, crush.
Yeah,
And I got a little bit inside about the word, but I wanted to hear what she had to say. So,
as your mother.
as my mother.
Yeah.
So when I approached her, the reaction she gave, like she was shocked and disappointed that I would
Mm,
ask that kind of question. So she's like, "Where did you hear this? Just forget about these things and just focus on the Bible."
mm,
She just covered it with the spiritual. It doesn't concern you.
mm,
I was like, okay, but why didn't you just tell me what it means? Then you can go on to say it doesn't concern you. But she did not take her time to explain. And funnily enough, um, not long after that, my sister approached me to tell me she had the same conversation with my mom, and my mom sat down, put her through, and told her what it was. So I was left wondering if I was the problem. Yeah.
Hmm.
So basically, that's how it has always been. So over time, I just learned to just bottle up a lot of emotions because I know that if I let them out, it's just going to be discarded,
Hmm.
regardless of how I felt. Yeah.
So how did you manage to cope with all of those at that time?
Well, I had an unhealthy way of coping in the sense that I dabbled into drinking
When you say drinking, what kind of drinks?
alcohol, to be
Alcohol.
precise. I dabbled into drinking alcohol. I began to self harm. Yeah, I began to cut myself because each time I did that, the pain, strangely, but had a way of making me feel at ease.
Hmm.
It had a way of releasing this tension, and I remember when I was in GS3
Hmm.
secondary school,
Yes.
I had this incident of a near rape experience where I was, locked up. I was cornered.
Yeah. Before we get to that part, can you talk to us when you say you went into alcohol?
Okay.
How serious was it? How many
Oh,
alcohol bottles did you take in a day?
well, in a day I could take about. I used to mix drinks,
Okay.
so there was some, but I could take about 6 huge cups of alcohol in a day.
And your parents
Yeah.
will not notice.
Yeah, I used to come home drunk, and they won't even notice I was drunk.
So it was that bad that even when something was wrong, they would not even notice.
Nah,
Hmm.
they were most times busy with work, and even when they were around, they were like so tired or just didn't want to hear that.
What about the self harm, the marks it left on your body? Did anybody not see it?
No, because growing up around boys, guys easily got injured, so it's like they're used to it. That it's maybe another scar from another injury.
Hmm.
Yeah, so they didn't really ask. And even when they did, I used to lie about it. Yeah, so I just covered it all up.
That was a coping mechanism.
Yes.
For how long did you stay on alcohol?
I stayed on alcohol for close to 6 years,
Six
five,
years.
6 years,
From what age to what age?
from about 14 years of age to uh I think last year.
Hmm.
So yes, it's been a long period of time.
Wow. And up to date, your parents are not aware.
No.
All right. So continue.
All right. So I was mentioning an incident that happened in GS3
Yes.
where I faced a near rape experience. I
Hmm.
was cornered by a guy in my school who is way stronger and bigger than I was. But got so good, someone else intervened. He came into the scene before it could happen.
Can you tell us how it happened? Can you describe the scenario?
Okay, I don't really want to go into much details, but just
Okay.
a summary. So
Okay.
I was sent to get someone,
Yes.
and when I met the guy, the guy, he was watching pornographic videos.
Okay.
So obviously he was already turned on,
Yeah.
and he called me, and I didn't even know what he was watching at the moment. But when I got to where it was, I saw it was a pornographic video, and I tried to leave, or he got all the doors locked, and I was trapped. So he was trying to like take advantage of me, and it was at the moment where it could have happened. Yeah, that someone else was sent to get me, and the person um picked the locks and came into the room. That was
Hmm.
how it was. It did not happen.
Hmm.
It did not happen. So I'm very grateful for that.
Okay. Very grateful for that. You did mention that in that scenario, he had to beat you up.
Yeah, because I was struggling against, like, I fought it all my life. Like my life depended on it. So
Hmm.
we had a real struggle. I put up a fight, and he was very he was very eager to just get it over with. So he beat me. He used his belt, but I still didn't give up because
Mm.
I knew what was happening, and I did not want it to happen.
Mm.
So he beat me, but he I just had to put up that fight. Yeah.
Okay, right. How did that experience leave you after that moment? Did you?
The experience left me shaking mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, even. I had a hard time recuperating
Mm.
because it's like I just fell out of balance with my body. I felt sick for about a week, and I was so shaking so much so that I couldn't hold a glass cup without it shattering.
Mm.
Yes, I was so shaken, and ever since that incident, I formed this in my head. I formed this belief about guys, which is not healthy, but it just was there automatically after the incident happened.
Were you
Yes.
able to talk to anybody about it at that time?
No, I was not able to talk to anybody
Talk to
because
nobody.
a lady who one of my classmates who complained about the same thing, the same guy,
Mm.
went to the school authority to report, and they covered it because the guy comes from a wealthy home, and his parents give the school huge donations.
Hmm.
So that would be like a loss on their part if the issue comes up. So they just buried it. So I'm like, if they did this for this lady, how is my case is not going to be any different. So I just let it like rest. Yeah.
Hmm. So you also talked about in a bid to cope with everything that was happening with you at that time, you um entered into parties.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to
Okay.
talk about those?
So when I got into senior secondary school, I was bullied at first. Yeah, I was bullied because I was smallish in stature. I had a
Mm.
small stature. I was bullied physically, emotionally, verbally. I was abused. And so I just thought to myself, I had to find a way to fit in so that this bullying would stop.
When you say verbally abused, what kind of
Oh,
verbal?
they insulted me, like, and remember I said I'm very emotional, so those things get to me. So they insult me, like tell me stuff that how I come from a dirty home, I stink, how I'm so I look malnourished and like
Mm.
that. Yeah, so those words got to me and it made me cry sometimes. But then I figured that this couldn't go on anymore. I had to look for a way to fit in.
Do you
So
want to take a break?
I'm fine.
Sure.
I'm good.
All right.
Um, I had to look for a way to fit in into the system so the bullying would stop. And so I started speaking their language, the slangs they used. I just started respecting them to fit in. And after some time, it worked because they brought me into the system.
Mm.
And over time, I worked my way to the top in the sense that I was among the leaders of the group. You
When you
know,
say systems and groups, what exactly are you talking about?
okay, in every school there's like this group. There's a group for the popular kids.
Yeah.
There's a group for the nerds. Yeah.
Mm.
So this our group is the group people fear, like the terrorist group, if there's anything like
Like
that.
a cultist.
Yeah, harsh gang. Know what I'm saying.
Okay.
So yeah, and it was so much that the guys respected me. They couldn't make some certain decisions without asking me first.
Mm.
Yeah, so like we became, I and some other girls, we became, I don't like to say the queen, but
I started bullying people as well.
and I didn't believe it because I knew what it felt like to be bullied. I wasn't
Oh.
down for that. Yeah, so I worked my way into the system, and those people were not like people with proper home training. People who come from abusive homes,
Mm.
come from homes with broken, their parents have divorced,
Yeah.
and who use alcohol to just get numb for some time.
So you're just a group of children from dysfunctional homes.
Yeah, broken in different
Mm.
senses. So we used to attend parties, we used to party, we used to um go to we used to do this teenager stuff, truth or dares, used to get messy. Some even got into like sexual intercourse as well.
So at what age did you start attending parties?
I was 15, 16.
Mm.
And I started attending parties.
At night?
No, not nights, during the day, but it was, yeah, in a secluded area.
Mm.
I started attending parties, and that's where I go home drunk and nobody even knows that this lady is drunk.
That's a lot for
Actually.
a 15 or 16-year-old.
I know, but that was just what we did to survive, to cope with the whole thing going on around us.
So I remembered you are hypertensive,
Yes.
and then you did mention that as at last year you were still taking alcohol. So how did you cope with alcohol and hypertension?
Oh, it was a real struggle because alcohol has a way of making my BP rise so bad that I can even pass out. So anytime I take alcohol, while I'm getting the hangover, I'm still dealing with increase, like my BP rising. And then I was like, I used to tell myself it was good because, well, I didn't care anymore. Anything that wants to happen should happen. But I'm like, what's the point?
Despite the pain.
Despite the pain, I was like, I didn't care. You get, I didn't want to take care of it. I didn't want to take drugs. I was like, if it's going to take me, I'm cool.
Seemed like you were ready to die.
At some point, I was, to be honest, I was ready to just let everything go.
Did you at any point specifically try to commit suicide?
Well, I had the thoughts, but at the time when the thoughts came, got so good, I was already under the wings of this guy I met who will not let me even entertain those kind of thoughts. Yes.
You talked about overdosing yourself with sleeping pills.
Yes.
What triggered that?
Okay. I was diagnosed with insomnia. Yeah. I've not been able to sleep for years.
When you say years, how long?
Well, I noticed it 2017, but it's like it got worse over the years. So it's like with everything happening, at least let me sleep. Then when I wake up, I continue with the thinking but sleep will even come. So one day I was frustrated. I bought the sleeping pills. The doctor said, I think a tablet is enough to do the job. And that day, I think I was having flashbacks on everything that happened. Like so much emotions were rushing through.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let me just sleep at least since I cannot get high.
You already stopped taking alcohol.
Yes, then. So I was like, okay, why is this thing working? I can't wait. So with that anger, the emotions rushing in, everything I was feeling, I think I was crying that day because it was so bad. I just wanted to sleep. And then if I know it, like everything was in my mouth and I had taken everything in the pack.
The full pack of sleeping
and
pills.
Crazy, it did not even work. I didn't sleep for 3 days straight. My eyes were like, wow. Jesus, I look so bad.
Wow, you took a full tablet of sleeping pills. You didn't pass out.
Nah.
You didn't wake up in the hospital.
Crazy. But true, yes.
It's interesting because it's amazing how sometimes we try to do stupid things and God just comes through for us.
Exactly.
Even without knowing. How did you feel after that?
I felt like I was floating. I felt weak. My body was just dysfunctional. Like I couldn't do stuff. I was just alive, but not me.
Was it nobody you could talk to at that time?
There was nobody. Okay, at that point, I'd already met this guy I've been talking about,
Mm.
and he was pissed at me because he used to check up on me,
So
and
it
he
was
had
like a
this way.
coping mechanism for you.
Yes, he had this way of getting the truth out of me.
Yeah.
So I told him that I OD'd, I took overdose, and he was so pissed. He didn't even talk to me.
Mm.
So like, if the one person that really cares is not talking to me, then who else will even understand, let alone talk to me? So I just didn't talk to anybody during that period. That period, the sleeping pill was like, I took the pill. I did not talk to anybody during that. It's just me. I locked myself in my room. I didn't come out. I was
Mm.
just there. Yeah. So
Right. So, at what point did you start changing, making good decisions for yourself? What was your turning point for you in the middle of all of this crisis?
okay, my turning point was when I met this same guy.
Okay.
He's not someone I will speak with on a normal day. First off, he's a weird person. He's so cool. He's just so introverted. I would say introverted, but you don't really see him. It's just like he knows how to ghost his presence. But that day, okay, what got us talking was I was singing.
Oh, you sing.
I sing is I was singing, and he commented that he said you have a nice voice. So like, okay, thank you. And from there, the conversation started, and he has this way of talking that makes you. He has this way of listening that makes you want to keep on talking,
Mm.
and he knows the right questions to ask at the right time. Yeah, I think that's one gift or skill that he has that God used. I keep saying it's God because I believe at that moment of my life, if he hadn't come in, I might have actually taken my own life. No cap.
Mm.
Because at that moment, things were just going downhill so fast. I even lost track of what was going on.
Mm.
But when he came in, he was asking basic questions. From basic questions, it began to, get more personal.
Mm.
And his way of like conversing, I'm like, I'm already telling this guy literally everything going in my life. I had to hold back some information because on the first night we met. And then he was so intentional about me. It was like it felt so different. Like finally someone who cares whether I've eaten or not.
Mm. Something you did not get from your parents.
Exactly. He's always checking up on me. He's always keeping me accountable. Like if I do this, he's like, "Why did you?" Like I was accountable to him.
Mm.
He cared for me, and it was just so different. Like I've never experienced this. So I listened to him, what he had to say, and when he talked, I began to see reasons why I should change.
Mm.
He made me see reasons why, if I continued down that path, not only will I destroy myself, but people around me.
Yeah.
And he knew it was not going to be easy, which is why he never just gave me advice and left. He gives me the advice and he helps me through it. So I think that was just the turning point. That was just what made me want to change, become a better person.
A better person.
Yes.
Interesting. So let's move to present
Okay.
time. What drives you now? What kind of person do you want to be? Looking at your background, looking at the kind of things you've done before, what kind of things do you want to do now?
Okay, so my current motivation now is the fact that there are people out there who are experiencing things like this, if not worse.
Mm.
And I've felt, if not everything, a part of it. And I do not want to see other people end up. Not everyone is lucky enough to have people who would drag them back.
Yeah.
I do not want to see people go down that hill. So I'm like, I have to be better so that they can listen to me.
Yes.
They can hear what I have to say. Because someone who is in the same situation as them, encouraging them is as good as useless.
Mm.
So I want to rise high above this level, be well established, that when I speak, they will see reasons why they actually have to change,
All right.
why they have to shut their mind to what, shut their brain to what their mind is telling them,
Mm.
what their heart is telling them,
Mhm.
and move on.
All right. So it happens that I've met people that are addicted to alcohol, and some of them are still struggling.
Okay.
So coming from somebody who was addicted to alcohol for several years, what kind of advice, what would you say to those people struggling out there with alcohol addictions?
My first advice would be, do not make alcohol your first choice,
Hmm.
because this thing is a mind. It's a mind thing. Your
Yeah.
mind has programmed itself to depend on alcohol wherever you feel this pressure or you're under tension.
Yes.
So it's not easy, trust me, because when I was abstaining, I cried so much. But you have to look for something to replace that habit.
Hmm.
It's a habit. You can't just kill a habit and it's died. You have to look for something to replace the habit.
Yeah.
And whatever you are doing to replace that habit has to be something that will be beneficial to you,
Yeah.
not destroy you.
Yeah.
So do not make alcohol your first choice. If it's within reach, you're feeling that emotion,
Hmm.
leave that environment. If it's not, like there was a time I was feeling some certain way and I wanted to go and buy alcohol. I locked my door.
Hmm.
I threw the key where I don't even know where it will land, because if I do, Lord knows that I will be wasted.
Hmm.
So I had to make it a conscious effort.
Yeah. Conscious
I had
effort.
to tell my mind that, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. I had to register it. I had to let it know that we are looking for another pattern. This is not it.
Yes.
It's not easy, because it's not, when you see someone who's addicted, it's like the first time they try to abstain, their body is, they can literally be convulsing because their body, you're denying the body.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was like that. I cried, I screamed, I was pulling my hair.
Hmm.
It was not easy, but
Yes.
after some time, after a while, with the replaced habits, it became easier until eventually stopped.
Hmm. That's so powerful. How do you advise, what do you advise people that are struggling with self-harm? Self-harm is something that is so hidden, yet very prevalent with young people in this day. So what do you advise people in that situation to do?
All right, for people who self harm, first off, it's not hygienic.
It's not hygienic.
It's not hygienic at all. So if you feel, because people who self harm do not just do it, there's a reason, a welled up emotion that they want to let out. In my case, that's what happened.
Yes.
So, like the alcohol, look for an alternative. If the first thing is, because then I used to keep long nails, that's why for a period I cut my nails low.
Yeah.
If I did not see a razor, I use my nails.
Mm.
It was that bad. So in that case, look for an alternative. Anything that will make you at that moment want to harm yourself, refrain. You can cry in a pillow. I want you to like punch the wall till I bleed, like till I
Yes.
feel serious pain. If you know that, just run it to a soft bed. At least no matter how much you punch it, you're not harming yourself. Look for an alternative. Look for something to replace that harmful or destructive habits.
Mm.
And over time, it just fades away. All right, so for looking for an alternative, it normally helps when you socialize.
Yes.
You mix up with people, because that's when you can like see your inspiration
Yes.
or what to do. I myself, I'm not there yet. I won't lie. I still need to work on my social life. It is horrible,
Mm.
but at least I've made it a priority. I'm conscious and
Mm.
I'm trying, even though I can do better. But socializing with the right people
Yeah.
would also help with creating an alternative for dangerous habits.
So one thing that has helped in all of this is socialization with the
Yes,
right
with the
people.
right people.
All right.
Yes.
So looking back at your background, your relationship with your parents, are there things you want to say specifically to your parents, to parents out there who are treating their children same way without even knowing? You know, it's a different thing to do something without knowing, and another thing to do it
Yeah, knowingly.
intentionally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to those that are doing this kind of stuff to their children without even knowing the consequence, the impact on their children, please let's talk to us, talk to parents.
Okay. So concerning this, I would say that there are some parents who do it ignorantly
Yeah.
because they feel like their children should know they love them.
Yeah.
With the sacrifice, they pay your school fees, they give you a roof over your head. So they believe you should know that is love. But what parents like this do not know is that we know they love us, but we need to hear it like you're enforcing your actions with words.
Mm.
We
Action
need
speaks
to
louder.
it speaks louder, but you need to say first
Yeah.
before an action even comes up. So these words of affirmation, these love languages, I love you, the hugs, all this stuff, parents do not see it as necessary
Yeah.
because that's how they were brought up.
Yeah.
And they don't see, like, they don't have the time. Their work, some people work so hard that when they come, they're tired, they're not even thinking of, do you get? So those are the ones who do it ignorantly. But my advice to parents like this is, first off, do not ever see it as cringe. Do it.
Mm.
Even if it's once in a while, just tell your children, I love you, or come. Words like that, there's nobody that wants to bribe a child outside with attention they've not seen at home.
Mm.
Because truth is, if you do not get attention at home or in the right place, you look for it somewhere else.
Yeah. True.
And woe betide the person if they find it in the midst of dangerous people.
True.
So once in a while, if not every time, let your children know with words specifically that you love them.
Mm.
Then for people who, or even after work, you're tired, fine, but just one or two jokes, let them feel like, how was your day? Okay, I have to sleep now, that kind of stuff. Let them know that you care, you are there.
Yes.
Yes. Then for parents who do it purposely, who say that's how they use us, there's nothing there. They need to know that this generation, or each passing generation, the children are developing. The environment is playing a big role on the development
Of the
of a
children.
child. And in this our world, one thing that's a big factor that makes people behave the way they do, background and emotions. Why your motive, but what were you feeling when you did this? What was the reason behind this? So you have to know that the way you were raised, it doesn't care if they want to. I've heard a mother, if you want to spoil. Oh no, that is wrong. You should know that these children, they need the emotion, they need the attention. They need it, and you should be the one to provide it for them. Don't say it's not necessary. It is necessary. Because these children, once they know that they are loved at home, they see it from the way your actions, they hear it. There's nobody that can bribe them outside, that can lead them away with those cheap things that they will cover up as attention. Because they have experienced the real deal.
From home.
So do not overlook it. Don't say it's not important. It is 100% important for every child out there. And another thing I'll say is, parents should study their children. They shouldn't use one technique for all the children.
Yes, children are different.
Children are different. I know there's a general moral value everybody will learn.
Yes.
But know your child. Know what works for this. A child, you might ground him and it will pain him. He will see what he did, his offense, with that grounding.
Yes.
Another child, you might ground him, but he will just see it as normal. Well, just for a few days. He won't learn. Maybe it's words that will get to him. So just know your child, know what works for them, and enforce it accordingly. Yes.
Thank you so much for that. We are so happy to have you here today.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
All right, to all of our viewers out there, thank you for joining us on today's episode of Tell Them Stories. Before you leave, please remember to subscribe, remember to like, and remember to use the comment section. All right, till we come your way again, we remain your favorite channel, Tell Them Stories.